Good morning, folks. It is, what is it, the 4th of November 2021, and we're looking at Nemo's War. Um, and you're looking at my hands. That is not dirt or grease on my hands. I was hauling walnuts a couple days ago, and I had gloves on, and it seeped through the glove, so it's stained. Um, so, yeah, I'm not touching this dirty hand, so don't freak out. But we're looking at Nemo's War, and this isn't a video about Nemo's War, but I've played this. If I played a solitaire game in September or October, or even this early November, it's been Nemo's War, and it's a good game. It's such a good game. I wish I would have played it earlier on when in Victory Point Games when they had first come out with it, because it's that good of a game. I'd like to play all the iterations of it. This game's a really nice game, and I highly recommend it if you like solitaire games. But it made me remember a certain game, and that's Blackbeard. Blackbeard was a game which felt much like Nemo's War in a lot of ways. It's a pirate game. It deals with piracy from a war game perspective, not a Euro game. Pirates, not some of those things that claim to be pirates. This is a pirate game, and everything about it is what you would think a pirate game should be. It deals with mostly historical pirates, although the historicity of exactly what they're doing here may not be exactly directly on point, but it's a good game. This was produced in 1991 by Avalon Hill, and the designer is Richard Berg. Richard Berg, he made a lot of great games. He also made a bunch of stinkers. This is one of the games that I think he made that doesn't get enough love. Let's look at it. Let's read the blurb, and then we're going to look at it. So it says, perhaps no period in history has been more widely romanticized in contemporary accounts than the golden age of piracy at the turn of the 18th century. Like the gunmen of the Wild West, their names have been pressed into legend forevermore and read like a veritable rogues gallery of history's greatest villains. Edward Teach, Blackbeard, Bartholomew Roberts, Long Ben Avery, William Kidd, and a score of the worst cutthroats to ever hoist a Jolly Roger now sail the Spanish Main again in search of plunder and adventure. A veritable cornucopia of the seafaring lore is relived in every game of Blackbeard. Yeah, it really is, if you want to look at it. Solitaire playability. It's got solitaire rules. It's very playable solitaire. Complexity medium. Yeah, on the lower side of the medium, I'd say. It's nothing difficult. Let's look at it. I haven't done a video on this. I haven't played this game in several years. But it is a good game. I did ask Rich Berg one time why it almost plays like a single player solid. Well, we'll get into that later. Let's look at these. Counters. As you can tell, these aren't my counters. They've been clipped. I bought this from somebody. I am not a counter clipper. Not that I'm against clipping counters. I do think they make a game more attractive. But if I want to put more time into clipping counters, I would rather, if I was going to sink that much time into clipping counters, I'd rather just paint some miniatures, right? So that's why I really don't clip counters. I look at them as a functional piece. Look at that. I'm taking this apart as a functional piece of gaming, and not so much an aesthetic, a great aesthetic piece of gaming, right? And but I'm not against people that do that. I think most of the time people that do that are people that want to be close to wargaming when they're not actually wargaming, and I completely understand that. Probably why I make these videos on YouTube, right? The cars, look at the cars. The cars is really something that drives the game. These are okay, so look at the backs of them. We're going to look at character cards. These are the playable characters. It's a game for 1 to 4 players, and these are how you're gonna set up how's it gonna drive the game, the engine, if you will. Man, I'm gonna have to go reread the rules to understand exactly how to read the cards, but that happens when you haven't played a game in so long. So, Peter Blood, okay. Edward Lowe, Francis Lalalis. See the Frenchman in there. See the Englishman, yeah. Thomas Tew, George Lothar, as my people would say. John Quelch, William Kidd, Captain Kidd, Hal Davis, Henry Avery, and others. I was trying to find the Edward Teach. He's in here somewhere. The Blackbeard. Bartholomew Roberts, Edward Teach as Blackbeard. That is definitely his standard, his Jolly Roger. As you see, Jolly Rogers of other Liberté, other pirates. So yeah, cool, very cool, right? That is a neat piece of the game. Here's some of the ships. So, ship cards. You got your sloop. Yeah. So here's your ship cards, and you know, ship cards are going to tell you what is in your holds, what you have in the holds. All right. So there's your ship cards. Your massive square rigger. All right. Another sloop. All right. Cool. We'll look at the instructions. We'll look at those. Just a quick overview of those here in a few minutes. Let's look at the maps. So, I've got a couple of maps that look at that back. That's very Avalon Hill. You know what that looks like when you see that back of a map like this. This mounted map. Nicely done. Crisp. All right. Nice map, beautiful map of the Caribbean, eastern part of North America in the Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, South America here. Well, that's probably around Cuba. No, not Cuba. Colombia, and obviously Cuba. Right, so very cool. Very Jamaica, very cool. Bahamas, very neat, very neat. And here will be another map that you're going to have. It's sort of I guess you'd call it a supplemental map, but it's the Indian Ocean, right? It's what pirates were working off the coasts of, gets the east coast of Africa there. All right, so very neat. And here you got Arabia. So, yeah, very cool for the golden age of piracy. I was going to say, I asked Richard Berg one time. He was very easy to get in his last years, get a hold of on social media, and I did ask him if while the game is set up where you have turns. If you're playing 4 players, it's almost like 4-player solitaire, and you draw your cards, and you have these number cards. I should have. And you have these number cards, and you draw the card that, if I can find, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not. It is a card draw, but you draw them, and you're numbered. It has to do with these cards, all right? Can't remember how, but you're numbered 1 through 4 or whatever, and you may go a bunch of turns and not get a turn, and then get 3 turns all at once, right? Surprise turns, and it almost is playing multiple player solitaire, where one guy gets to do his stuff, another guy. Good solitaire rules too. It's very easy to do solitaire because of that. And he said, Richard Berg got back with me and said that because piracy was a very lonely type of thing. They didn't cooperate very often. They were loners on the sea, and he wanted to, if I can find that, he wanted to express that it was a solitary type of endeavor, and that was the best way to express it. And I thought that was a pretty good answer. Pretty good answer there. So, merchant ship movement, booty, notoriety, gain notoriety, that can be a bad thing. Mutiny happened, absolutely. Warships, be careful with those. But you're just really trying to live through and keep the crew happy. Keep the crew happy, and questions and answers, and ultimately, I was trying to look at a sequence of play if I could find one. And ultimately, make enough money to keep everybody happy, keep the crew happy, and retire a wealthy man. That is the purpose, which is very cool. Notoriety I loved, where it's going to say here, overview. Aside from the acts of the usual number of psychotics that piracy produced, cruelty was often a calculated means to an end, especially in an era and a job that held little else in the way of amusement. It kept the crew entertained, or the position of captain was usually elective. Not keeping the crew happy, marooning, being abandoned on a lifeless island, was the common response. Although a simple enough in the throat, was not uncommon. Pirates gained notoriety for variety of actions, and this proves to be a two-edged sword. Yes, it does. The more notoriety you get more warships from different nations following you. You're gonna attacking ports, attacking some nations. You're going to be allied with some of them at some times, if I am not mistaken. But let's look at the recommended reading. All serious gamers should subscribe to the general. Oh, that's the general. Yeah, thought it might have been a book. That is recommended. I thought there was a general with Blackbeard in it. I may have that. Thought it might give you a book on piracy, which I do love. Should have known that. Was in most of these rule books, something like that, right? All right. Well, that's it. I was just wanting to look at it. Retirement, that's what another thing I was wanting to go over. In order to safeguard his net worth, a pirate must retire. If killed, all of his past successes mean nothing. A pirate may retire as the result of a mutiny, through a king's pardon. That's a cool touch. Voluntarily, or by presentation of his letter of marque after capture. A retired pirate can win even if an opposing pirate gains more net worth, provided that the opposing pirate is killed before he can retire or the game ends. Man, double cross. Yeah, it's really a cool game. Duels. Hey, Código Duelo, right? So that's it. I do remember Rich Berg having saying he had a, what was it, a table, a random events table, and when he was trying to get this published, and everybody went crazy because he had one that was the violation or the rape of the governor's daughter, and everybody. And he said to publish, and they said that would be horrible because women wouldn't like that. That's violence against women. And he was like, well, then put the governor's son, because pirates wasn't that picky. And I thought that was a good response. Rich Berg is something of a character. But there's his game, Blackbeard. I highly recommend it. I'm still playing Card Wars now. I'm trying to get that wrapped around my head. I don't think I'll play this lately, but I might get back into it. But it's worth playing. It's worth taking a look at. If you don't have it, you can pick it up at a good price. Do so. There's no excuse not to play it. It's a good solitaire rules, good solitaire game, good multiplayer game. Better multiplayer game, I actually think, than solitaire. But very thematic game, very good game. Revelry and debauchery. That's what this game's about. All right, folks. Everybody have a great day. And I also recommend Nemo's War. So, yeah, either of those games, if you can play them, they're fun. They're just a lot of fun. All right, folks. I'm going to horse races this afternoon, so I'm going to have a little bit of fun. So y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.